the positive ways that we express anger are verbally communicating with the other person, the other party, why we are angry, and letting them know, which is a big thing because a lot of people are very passive aggressive and don't actually let the other person know, so that it's more harmful. And I personally do this a lot. I don't let somebody else know because I don't want them to feel like they have the upper hand. I don't want them to know that they're getting to me, because people can use that to their advantage when people get to you, when they're making you angry and they know it, they tend to continue to rub you, and that's part of my personal fear, is letting people know that inner anger and my triggers. But it's pretty easily done. The verbal statements of anger, just letting, Dr. Porter, I'm very angry about this situation. I feel this way, I feel this way, and you can also introduce your fears to the situation, and that's a healthy communication technique as well. Not attacking the other person, try to use healthy statements instead of I don't think you did this, or my mother does this a lot. She starts a sentence with "you should" or "you didn't," or and it just drives me crazy. I can tell within the first few words that she's coming off as an attacker, and it makes me angry a lot, and that goes hand in hand with my fear of dealing with my mother altogether, just because I don't want to feel those ways, and I don't want her to feel the ways that, we just go back and forth, and it's never a really healthy exchange between us. And uncovering the source, bringing up my mother again, we've actually sat down and tried to uncover why we're acting like this towards one another, and what we can do, what healthy ways we can benefit from acting differently in the future. It never seems to work, unfortunately, though. So there are my relationships between fear and anger. Now, another part that I wanted to add to this particular question was the difference between assertiveness and aggressiveness, because I think those go hand in hand with the portion that I just spoke about, the expressing anger in a negative way. And actually, I haven't expressed anger. I haven't talked about expressing anger in a negative way yet. I only talked about expressing anger in a positive way. Well, you can express anger in an aggressive way, hostile or violent behavior towards the other person, fighting, arguing, sarcasm, readiness to attack, and a lot of strangers do this. So I find it strange when families or siblings or friends do this, because it's sort of something that we do when we're ready to alienate someone, and it's a big, in my family anyways, it's a very hurtful thing to alienate the person. We have definite alienation issues between the people in my family, and that seems to be, you made me mad, and now I'm just not going to talk to you for 2 years. That's your punishment. We're going to alienate instead of trying to work something out or trying to get to the bottom of it. And my mother and I, I'm not just talking about my mother and I, but my mother and I have we've gone to counseling. We've sat down, and written out, these are the things that bother us. How can we avoid them? And unfortunately, what we do just doesn't work. And we've gotten to the point now where in just the first few sentences of our conversation, it's frustrating, and we can't continue with what's going on. So, a non-controlled type environment when we're yelling at each other and putting each other down is very aggressive, or threatening in a competitive type way, telling somebody, and this is done. I see this done, in public on TV. I don't particularly like to watch TV because it's a big trigger for me. Seeing all this BS, all these people fighting, and it's that Jerry Springer had the big thing. He'd bring people out and they would just beat each other to a pulp and put each other down, and the audience would be yelling and screaming, and it was just, the American public sort of bought into, this is aggressive, we want to see this, and the bad